5, 6, 7, 8.
Wrapped.
Like a present.
Like a little gift.
From us
The gift
to you.
keeps on giving. Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gilmore to Say with Tara and Haley. I'm Tara. This is Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Tara.
Happy Gilmore to Say Wrapped Day. It's our last episode of 2025. I can't believe it.
I know. Can you believe 2025 is over?
No, it came and went so quickly. And boy, was it a year.
And yet dragged on forever.
And yet went on and on and on. Yeah.
And quite literally wouldn't stop. But here it is. Here we are at the last episode. On, I guess, New Year's Eve, because last week was Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite episodes to record.
You did say that. You said that yesterday. I didn't know that about you.
Love this episode so much. It is so much fun to record with you and kind of reminisce on our year. I recommend everybody do this. I know. But just in general, it's like really fun to just chat about our year. It, I think, puts things into perspective. I think everybody should have a Wrapped, just like in their own lives, like, you know,
just a review
or
just
a
like
year
a
in
reflection.
review. Yeah. It just puts a lot into perspective. And I think during a time when maybe, you know, you're feeling like this end of the year rush and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the year's ending. I didn't do XYZ. It's like, well, take a look at what you did do, because it was probably
take a look at what you did do. Yeah.
Probably a lot more than you think. And reflecting on this past year, I cannot believe how much happened this year here on the podcast.
So much happened this year. It's like kind of wild to think about that it all happened this year. I think that's one of the things that I'm kind of in this reflection that we're doing. I am doing my own reflection as well, of like trying to just fully realize that some of these things that I'm remembering all happened in this one calendar year.
I know. It's crazy. So let's start with a little Gilmore to Say by the numbers, because we released a lot of content this year.
Oh, boy, did we ever.
Yeah. So we released 41 Gilmore to Say episodes. That's just Gilmore to Say. Plus one Gilmore 41? To watch. Yep. Plus a Gilmore to watch.
Okay.
Plus 3 Patreon episodes that we took from Patreon and aired them.
Oh, yes.
10 Gilmore to Consider episodes and 18 Gilmore to Read episodes.
Wow. Okay, I will say one of them was recorded in a year prior and released this year. Yes, the Rebecca Ross one, because there was a boycott for her publisher. So I delayed the release of that. So that scared me for a second, because in the episode that came out, I guess for the 17th, I did a little Gilmore to Read recap, and I said 17, and I was like, wait.
Wow.
I got it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
that is crazy.
It's crazy. So adding to that, let me get my little calculator out.
Tara loves a calculator. Get her a visor.
Yeah, put the little green visor on me. I'm ready. So altogether, 41 Gilmore to Say episodes plus a Gilmore to
41?
watch. Well, just Gilmore to Say.
Okay. Oh, because you had 10 Gilmore to Consider.
Yes. Plus a Gilmore to watch plus 3 Patreon episodes that we aired publicly. Yeah. Plus 10 Gilmore to Considers and 18 Gilmore to Reads was 73 episodes.
Wow.
Plus, we did 8 re-releases of Gilmore to Say Revisited. And that brings us to 81 episodes that we released this year.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? Just publicly. That doesn't include all of our Patreon episodes, which I didn't even count.
Which is so many.
Because
we're releasing 4 a week right now.
We're releasing 4 a week right now for Patreon. So it is well past. I mean, probably just as many. Honestly.
Probably, because we do 4 a week on Fridays. We do lives. We do live rewatches. Mm-hmm. Wow. That is a lot.
It's a lot.
We've been busy.
We've been very, very busy.
We've been busy.
And comparing it to last year's, I think we released 60-something episodes last year on pod. I was like, oh, wow. My God. Yeah. So we were busy this year.
That's a lot of Gilmore to Reads. I don't know if I can do that next year.
You did a lot of Gilmore to Reads this fall, which is really cool. You had so many really fun authors, which I'm excited to talk about a little later. But
yeah,
I wanted to share a little Gilmore to Say by the numbers, because that's a lot.
That's simply wild.
Yeah.
I think that's something like, no matter how many episodes we release, regardless of how long we've had this podcast, which is 4 years at this point, our number one episode is always our first episode by like a mile.
Always.
Like the girlies tune in and I guess get locked in from that first one.
Well, yeah, that's how they find us, you know? And it's also a really great, you know, hook. Star-crossed lovers and other reasons to hate Dean Forrester. I mean,
they're like, oh, you hate him?
You hate him?
Let's hear more.
Tell me more.
Come sit at my table.
Up until this point, from January to today when we're recording this, which is December 16th, we've had 1.16 million downloads. And I just like marvel at it every year.
Breaking a million is...
I marvel at it every year. Yeah.
It makes me want to cry.
Me too. Low key.
It makes me want to cry just a little bit.
Yeah. And then we broke 100,000 followers on Instagram, which was a goal for us for a long time. And
it was. And like, it's one of those goals that you kind of have sitting in the back of your mind that you're not like, you know, it's not any sort of like end all be all of like success, but it's like, wow, this is how many people we can reach. Just talking about Gilmore Girls the way that we do here, like in the same way that like over 1 million downloads, like, what are you guys doing? Why are you listening?
No. Stay.
I know, don't leave, but like, I can't believe it. I
know.
I just want to keep doing it more and more. And just the fact that you guys are listening, we get to do it more and more, which is so exciting. Like, it's one of those things I can't even fully process that, other than just to say thanks for being here.
Thanks for
being here, besties.
Just makes our heart really happy. Hearts, both of our hearts.
We have one heart.
We have one heart, one brain, one brain cell.
One brain, two hearts.
So that's a little Gilmore to say by the numbers for you guys before we dive in, because we did ask you guys what your favorite episodes were, some of your favorite moments, and we have some ourselves. So we're going to start with that and then read what you guys wrote on Instagram, which I love doing. I love going through it every year because it's so great to see you guys and what you have to say and what you're excited for and what stood out to you, reminding us of moments that we had, which
every time I always forget.
Me too. It really gets me. Well, because the years start to blend together at some point. You're like, oh, that was this year.
Absolutely. You know? I was scrolling back through seeing what episodes we had done this year, and I scrolled back too far and I was like, oh, we did do that. And suddenly I realized it was in 2023 and I was like, whoa, no, that was not this year.
Nope.
Let me. But I was just like, it all just is one long year for the last 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So let's start with what our favorite episode to record was. Tell me what your favorite episode to record. I mean, for me, I love this episode here, so I'm going to exclude this episode. But tell me what your favorite episode.
I feel like it's kind of strange to be like this episode that we're recording right now, where we look like we match from different parts of the country.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's hard not to be Paley Fest, like the Paley Fest recap, because we were sitting in Tara's bed in the hotel room, still in full glam in our robes, talking about this night because we wanted to do it right then so we didn't forget, and we had just come from In and Out, and it was just like the circumstances of it were really fun and really cool, not to mention the content that we were talking about because we'd just come from Paley Fest. So that one was just like a weird, strange moment of us like recording together for the first time. I think prior to that was like half a year ago. What was the last time we had been together recording? Mm-hmm. So I think that one just kind of takes the cake.
Yeah. So good. That was the first one I put. I actually chose 3. Well, I kind of chose 4.
Oh, I chose 6.
You chose 6?
Well, you guys, Tara sent me a note this morning via text. No text with it, just sent me the note. And I knew what to do with it. It was like all the breakdown of everything because we were preparing for the episode. Didn't say anything with it. Didn't say, hey, write down 3, write down 1.
No,
so
it's just like categories.
Some of them I have 1, some of them I have 6, some of them I have 2. So there were no rules given, and so I made my own.
Great. All right. Paley Fest was at the top of my list too.
Yes.
But the next one I have is Grant Lee Phillips. That was one of my favorite episodes to record.
Can I say it was Grant Lee and then doing the Troubadour episode?
Oh, like loved
those kind of in tandem.
Back to back.
Loved, first of all, Grant Lee, true sunshine human.
What a wonderful
Loved
man.
Him. I think you and I are his biggest fans.
Probably.
Like, I want to go to every one of his shows. Like, I want to go see him live. Because
I just remember looking back at the episode because I review the episodes for Gilmore to say, and I was just like, Tara, you are smiling too hard. Stop it.
You were like, I was radiant.
Just like,
He's terrified, that man.
He's like, no, you are scary. No, it was such a delightful experience having a conversation with him that I just couldn't stop smiling the whole time. I was like, you look insane, but good for you. Glad you had a good time.
and I will say, sometimes when you get a guest, like someone like Grant, you're not sure how the conversation is going to go. You don't know what kind of conversationalists they are, and so you're coming to this really unknowing. Like you can prepare as much as you want to, but you don't know how a conversation's going to go. That man is so charming. He's so funny. He's so warm. He's so inquisitive and curious, intentional,
present.
I loved him.
Loved him.
And then going back and doing the Town Troubadour episode where we talk about him and his character in its entirety, because we didn't want to make him suffer through a recap of his whole time on Gilmore Girls, was just so much fun with that context of him.
Totally.
And having met him. And we have to, I think one of our 2026 resolutions together has to be find a Grant Lee Phillips live show so that we can go to it together. Because I just think it'd be fantastic, because he really is the soundtrack to so much of what Gilmore Girls is, and that vibe that we get. So had to be at the top.
Totally agree. What is one of your next ones?
Partings.
Oh,
I loved doing Partings live. Like, that was
great episode.
We recorded it for Patreon for Gilmore to say live with our vicious trollops, and it was chaos and long, and Tara couldn't stop crying.
I couldn't stop crying. But we are blending everything together, right? It's like a live experience with our vicious trollops, a Patreon episode, and also something that's going on pod. So it kind of was bringing all of, like, melding all of the things we do here on the podcast together, like on and behind Patreon together. And also, it's like one of, if not your favorite episode of Gilmore Girls. It was so highly anticipated, and I couldn't stop crying. It was so good.
And I was really worried all day to do it, because I was like, I don't know how this is going to go.
Right.
Like, I don't know why. I was just like, I woke up afraid to talk about it, because I do love it so much. But yeah, so that one was definitely one.
Yeah. I loved our Luke or Suki episode.
Yeah, that one was so fun.
It was a really fun one to plan, because, you know, we've talked about food on this show before. We did it a lot, or we did an episode about it in our first year. But to talk about it in regards to Suki and Luke and the food fights of it all, and how they've how they were like positioned to be a little bit of a rivalry against each other was so cool and wonderful. And
I loved pulling them all out.
Me too.
One of my favorite things about the podcast is like the very intentional watch that we do for certain episodes. Like that one, I went to find all of the Suki and Luke scenes and like how their storylines cross over.
Yeah.
Which is like not any way that I would ever intend to watch it, like just like on its own. So I really enjoyed that. Speaking of a man, I loved our Brett episode.
Yeah, I loved those episodes with him. Like recording the three of us and also doing a little one-on-one with him was really fun. And I loved bringing him into the fold. I know people are excited for him to come back next year, and I am going to light a fire under his ass too.
I was going to say, we have intentions for Brett to come back next year.
We sure do.
Brett has to finish the series, and you know,
he's on Bridesmaids Revisited and has been for like months.
So
we
have watched the whole show and are watching halfway through it again.
Yeah.
Before this man has finished season 6. So I have high hopes for him, because I can only have high hopes for him, but
we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. We're trying. We're really trying our best. So I have told him that the people want him back, and I think that'll light a fire under him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If feel free to send us DMs requesting it, that we can show him.
We'll show him.
That's be like, Brett, finish the show.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you feel free to just flood our DMs with that.
Yeah.
You know. The last one I will say is I really, really loved, I guess, was it last week? I guess it was 2 weeks at this point, our Christmas special. I loved talking about the show and Christmas.
Me too. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That one was good.
My other honorable mention, I loved doing the Gossip Girl episode with Caroline.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had so much fun because it is refreshing to talk about this show from the angle of another show. that is something that I kind of wanted to do. And I did do with Sarah Lampert with Gilmore to Watch, because like, I'm sure you feel the same way with Gilmore to Read, is that like talking about this show from the lens of other forms of media is very exciting. When I was watching Gossip Girl, I could not stop thinking about how many different ways it connected back to Gilmore Girls. And that was so exciting for me. And I think like one of the things that we've bonded over within this podcast is like how we can kind of relate Gilmore Girls, honestly, back to pretty much anything.
To anything.
And so, or anything back
point.
to Gilmore Girls. And so it was really, really fun to do that with Caroline. And I loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah. I still need to listen to that episode. I was trying to find something to listen to. I ended up turning on an audiobook because I've been gluing ribbons together, making like ribbon paper chain. I was like, I don't really have anything to listen to. And that is what I will do tonight when I do ribbon paper chains.
I think you'll really like it. She's just so fun, and like
I love listening to the two of you talk in the meetings that we have. So like I know that I'm gonna love it. It's a little Gossip Girl. Even though Tara and I were both rewatching Gossip Girl, Tara finished Gossip Girl, and I'm still on season 1.
Hilarious.
So I am the Brett here.
You are the Brett. It's so true.
I am the Brett here. But yeah, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Yeah. Moving on to favorite off-pod moment. What did you have?
I love when you came to my house in June, was it?
Yeah.
I think. And all we did was I took you to the grocery store.
Oh God, and we had just such a great time at the grocery store.
We had
Take a city girl to a suburban grocery store and you'll see just how she lights up like a Christmas
tree. We went like
tree.
7 times.
No, it's true.
We watched the Eras tour.
That was so fun watching the Eras tour. And speaking of Taylor Swift, one of my favorites was us seeing Taylor Swift on Colbert a couple weeks ago. It was so fun.
That's like number 1. Yeah. I put there so many, but like Colbert.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it doesn't even feel off pod. It's like just like off pod is like friendship. That one was like the closest off pod because you did come to my house so that we could record the Rewatch Club beginning together. We recorded 8 episodes while you were there.
That was crazy. But like in a good way. I couldn't believe we did that. It was so, it worked. I loved it.
So that felt like off pod because like it was related to pod, but we were at the grocery store.
Yes, so true.
But Colbert was definitely more just like, we were not on the podcast. We were being friends, but Mr. Brett the man got us tickets, and I literally did like the inside of my brain just starts tearing up just a little bit whenever I think about it. Because seeing Taylor Swift, we were so close to her. Distance wise, how far away do you think we were? My mom keeps asking me and it changes every time.
I think like 20 feet, 30 feet.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's different. Those are two different. 20 to 30 feet.
Yeah.
How far is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
20 to 30 feet.
I don't know how. I can't like
10
estimate
yards?
Distance.
Yeah, I can't really either.
Okay. If I played football, that'd be really helpful.
Pretty close.
We were close. Close enough that when she turned and looked at us, we were making eye contact.
It's true.
With her.
She waved. Her little clam
Thanks
waves.
for coming, guys. Her clam waves.
Clam waves. So
my gosh, Tara, that makes so much more sense. Tara commented on my Instagram post and she put a seashell. And I was like, seashell? Ariel? Like a phone? Like she's talking to us? Like we're talking to the ocean? I don't know. I couldn't.
I know. I was like, I hope she gets this.
No.
Clam. But they didn't have a clam because I looked for shell, like a clam shell, but they didn't have that. So I just said a regular seashell.
Because I was like, clam by? Shell by?
Shell by. Bye.
Okay. That makes so much more sense.
I also put Paley Fest. I mean, it was a pod moment, but like off.
It was pod. It was for like work.
Yes.
We were not on the pod when we did it.
Yeah. But then also getting to surprise you with my engagement. It was on pod, but like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like on pod.
No. Yeah. My favorite part of that is I thought you were going to bring up Sabrina Carpenter for some reason.
I know.
I was so locked in. I was like, it's Sabrina Carpenter's birthday. I don't know when that girl's birthday is, but I was like, this is what the story's about. And so like
you were so in it, but that's what made it so great is that you had no idea what I was saying. And all of our listeners, all of our trollops in the chat were like, oh my God.
They knew what was coming.
And you were like, what?
See, this is why I either don't like watching movies or adore watching movies is because I try to stay ahead. I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And so sometimes when people start telling me stories, I'm like, oh, I already know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And with that one, at no point, even when you showed me your ring, I was like, what is this? Because I just like try to stay ahead of it. And it's like really a curse for me. So sometimes I like need to stay in the moment. And that's
you were beat by beat with me. And so much.
Because I was like,
you were like,
when does Sabrina come out?
Yeah. I was like, hello.
Hello.
I loved that
Glam.
moment. Yeah. But I guess like off pod moment for me was at Paley Fest in the audience.
Like, okay. When they called you out by your government name, by your genie beanie given name.
I know.
Because Liran and I were sitting next to each other and I sank so far into my seat, my shoulders were touching the seat, the bottom.
Yeah.
And I was like,
crazy. But I think that like, so moving on to moment that went wrong, I kind of like classified this as like standout moment that kind of went wrong. We usually do like on the pod, Vesuvie.
Nothing
last year was Vesuvie.
Nothing will ever top Vesuvie. If you guys don't know Vesuvie, please go to Patreon and listen to Wedding Bell.
Well, actually, you don't even need to go to Patreon. You can listen to.
Oh, is it?
I think it's
is it on the pod?
Yeah.
Go backwards and listen. I need you to experience it live. It is the Wedding Bell Blues recap for Gilmore Revisited. It's very early on because it's when we're doing the DVD. We're reading through the DVD chapters.
Vesuvie?
Just experience it on your own if you have not yet. If you've heard us mention Vesuvie and you're like, girlies, what are you saying? We're saying about? Vesuvius. But you're like, that's not how you say that word. No. You know, Vesuvie? Just go back.
Vesuvie?
Go back to the beginning of Vesuvie.
So funny. But moment that went wrong, like standout moment that quote unquote went wrong, is that we had purchased tickets to Paley Fest. And so we had an extra ticket that we gave to Liran, our editor, so that she could bring a pal with her. But then when we got our press tickets, because we had seats, we were being given tickets because we were on the press line. And so when we got our press tickets, they were like all the way up in the balcony.
They were
and
way
we had
worse
gotten tickets that were like,
that we got.
Yes, we had gotten tickets that were not like directly on the floor, but like right
They
behind.
were like in the orchestra section of the Hollywood Theater.
And so we only had one ticket. And I told Haley, I said, you take it. I'll go sit in the balcony. And so I was in the press line.
And it was for content. And then I got in trouble for taking content.
Yes. And so kind of the happy accident that happened is because we were up in the balcony and no one was kind of really monitoring us, because I was taking video. I took a video a bunch of times. It was moreover when everything happened with Stacey, I was sitting next to Nicole, who we had met from Us Weekly.
Gorgeous
and
girl.
Love her. And she, like, when my name was called, I just grabbed her and I was like, that's me. I'm Tara. She was like, oh my God. And she like got the video, and people in line, or in like our row rather, were like, she's here.
Well, the press line.
The press line. Yeah. So it was just kind of like this happy accident. Of course, I would have loved to have been with you, but it was this moment that Nicole captured that was so cool. And
I don't think I would have had a presence of mind to do that.
Yeah.
I think I would have. Cool. I didn't. I mean, as it turns out, I didn't have a presence of mind to do anything other than just like Liran and I grab onto each other and we're like, that's her.
Exactly. And the other happy accident that happened while we were there is that like just where we happened to exit was right near where Valerie was with Liz Torres, who plays Miss Patty. Oh, so we ended up meeting her.
And she complimented my purse.
She's so cute. What a sweet lady.
She's the cutest.
What a sweet
That's like
lady.
my new favorite purse because Liz Torres loved it.
What a star. Like literally what an icon.
I know.
Did you have a moment that went wrong that like stood out to you?
Yes, and I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh no.
But I'm going to bring it up, and the only people that know that witnessed this were some of our vicious trollops. It makes me want to I quit the podcast that day. So recently Tara and I did a live on Patreon, and I sent the wrong link to the studio. Tara, I don't even know why I'm telling people this, because it's like truly I came back and I was like, Tara, I'm quitting the podcast. I want to cry.
I forgot about this.
I didn't.
It haunts me.
It haunts me. So you can send out two links. You can send out audience or guest. And so I'm so used to sending out the guest link because when I have a guest, I send them the guest link. And the way that it works is with the guest link, you can turn it on so that they have to wait in a waiting room before like coming in and being accepted, a lot like Google Meets, or what's it called? Is that Google Meet?
Yeah, Google Meet.
Okay. It used to be called Google Hangout. But anyway, I digress. It wasn't turned on. So when it's not turned on, you can just come right in I forgot to send the audience link. Audience link means you can just be in the audience and you're not going to show up on the screen.
You're viewing us, yeah.
You're viewing us like an audience might. Very apt terminology that I mixed up. And so I posted the link to Patreon, of course. And Tara was like, there's people here. And I was like, well, Tara, that's what we wanted. We wanted people to be here. And I didn't realize what she meant. And I joined and there was a bunch of people looking at me and I left and I was like, what just happened? Like, what's going on? And I realized that I had posted the guest link instead of the audience. So everyone joined as guest. And so everyone was a guest. And I was like, oh my God.
Everybody's like, cameras were on and we were like, what is happening?
I don't know what was happening. And which is lovely, but we were doing a rewatch episode. We can't have everyone talking at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so panicked about it. But in my panic, I kept rejoining the room. I kept going back to the studio. But then I would join a new studio and I would go into it and it was still the old studio. So Riverside was like glitching the whole time. And every time I would go back in and I would be in this room of people whose like names I know, but whose faces I don't. And it just felt like it felt like a scary movie.
Yeah,
like
you're just like,
I would click on a different studio, go in, it's the same studio. And I think because I had it open on a different tab, it kept defaulting to it. Like Riverside, something weird was happening because I kept going into it, even though I was entering a different studio. And I don't think you can be in two at once. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But every time I went into a different one, I was joining the one where everyone was. And I was like, I don't know. And I just kept leaving rather than being like a normal person and being like, hey, y'all, this is all messed up. Let's start over. Which is ultimately what we did. But like, it's just like the more worked up you get about something, the more like treacherous it feels. And it was just like a horror movie. Every time I'd like be like, okay, I'm going into a room by myself. There's 20 people here. And I like the last time I joined it, I finally was just like, Tara, I'm quitting. I'm quitting the podcast. Like,
well, then
it doesn't sound
if you remember, it doesn't sound so bad retelling it, but in the moment, it was so chaotic. And then if you remember, I started having like, all of a sudden my videos started going blurry. We were having like deep technical difficulties.
We were having really bad technical difficulties. Yeah. I think Riverside was having a breakdown that night.
Yeah, but it was really funny.
It was causing a breakdown for me. Because I was like, I think I just like got up and walked away because I told my mom, I was like, I can't do this. People saw me and she was like, what?
Isn't that really?
Like the retelling of it doesn't make any sense because you're like, yeah, that's but like when you think you're going into a room where no one's going to be there and you open it and it's a surprise party that you accidentally threw for yourself. And then you keep going back into that room, throwing yourself an accidental surprise party. And never, at no point have you ever intended to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry about that, Trollops. But like that was like probably the most harrowing experience. And like in the retelling, you're like, yeah, Haley, that doesn't sound that bad. But like, you try joining a room full of people and not expecting them to be there.
It was very comical. We were laughing so hard because I was like, we can't.
I couldn't stop laughing, but at the same time, am I laughing or am I crying? I couldn't tell.
It was so funny.
But yeah, it's like kind of like being in a work meeting and your camera's on and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
Kind of that sort of like, what is going on?
Yeah. Totally. And I've been there. I have been there.
And I was like, I'm not going to bring this up. It's not going to make sense as to why this was the scariest moment of the year for me. But yeah, that was.
Well, if that's your scariest moment, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Yeah. Okay, moving into opinion that changed.
Okay, so I have a couple.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to start with the revival. Mm-hmm. I think that you and I watching this together was a lot more fun in like a way that I didn't expect. Like I thought that we were going to hate on the revival the whole time, admittedly. I didn't expect us to find all of these little moments that we loved and like recognize all these callbacks from like especially from Dan Palladino in his episodes. I fully expected to be like, about the musical, but like going back and learning the lore, we really loved it. I also did change my mind. I'm like, I still don't love what the musical is doing in the episode. But I love the musical itself as like if we pulled it out as like a little short that got attached to the release of A Year in the Life as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I expected us to be a lot harder on the revival, but we ended up liking it a lot more than
I agree.
Realized,
that was one of mine as well. And April Nardini. We really softened to April Nardini this year.
We softened to season 7 softened us to April Nardini and Zach.
And Zach, that was shocking. Yeah.
That we knew we were not in a Gilmore Girls season, like in a true Gilmore Girls, like season 7 wasn't real because we loved April and Zach.
Totally.
Wild. But in that same vein, I changed my tune on season 7. I've never hated it, like absolutely hated it. I've liked watching it in the past, you know, my man Logan. Oh man. But I did a complete 180. You did. Like mind blown. Mind blown that I'm the one who is calling him a yucko. And like, don't get me wrong. That is my man. I love Logan Huntsberger. I am a Logan Huntsberger girly to my core. Could never change. But objectively, a yucko man.
Yeah, you really saw the light on that one. He really let you down. Yeah.
He really let me down. And there is a lot to be said. And we, to be fair, I've said it.
You have.
It's been said. But yeah, Yucko Man in season 7 and I would say Yucko Man in the revival. Oh, Yucko Loser. Yes. There's even a hand motion that goes with it. I forgot it. Yucko Loser. But I think that the thing is in season 7 is you just realize he's just a mediocre man who 100%. Who just is so self-forward. And you're just like the whole thing with his dad when he left the company, I was like, oh, so you're just leaving everyone else to clean up your mess because now you're just like done and you're just showing your dad the middle finger to all of this. Why don't you stick around and show some responsibility?
Could not agree more.
So that was biggest surprise. I think that was honestly the biggest surprise I've had thus far.
Yeah, to say. If I could put one on you, that's what I would choose.
Yeah.
Is that you really...
That we gave him a hand motion.
Yeah. We literally
Yucko Loser.
Yucko Loser.
Like, that's
loser,
my man.
Loser, Yucko Loser.
Yes, exactly. And I think that the thing is like, I've always had very mixed feelings about Dean and Jess and their character and what happens with them. I have been like full force for Logan. And I mean, of course, I've had very critical things to say about him in season 5 and 6. But like when we got to season 7, I was like, oh, this man, I would say no too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say no too, Rory. Like, I get it.
Absolutely. 100%.
What about you?
Those two, April, softening to April and also softening to the revival.
Yeah.
That was really what I had.
Hardening to season 7.
Yeah.
I think we got harder on it.
I agree.
Because I think that with Gilmore Revisited, when we revisited like at the end of that, is like you realize just how differently you're watching the show than you ever have before.
Totally.
Like I think that for a lot of people who have a lot of like, I guess like criticism towards our thoughts and opinions as we moved through Revisited, like maybe we were being too harsh, but it's like we were going through it with a fine tooth comb, like 100%. Comparing it to like previous episodes. Cause like we weren't particularly nice in some of the like the season 6 episodes.
No. When they were still there,
but the season 7 that's bad. A different show. Bad. That is a different show.
Bad.
And I feel I feel more affirmed in that than ever.
I agree.
After this year on Gilmore Revisited.
Totally agree. So moving into our favorite listener moment, I'm really curious if we have some of the same. Well, I know we don't have one of the same because it's less of like a fave and more of a hilarious story that I remembered in thinking about this, and one that I don't think A, you remember, or B, like...
Do you want to share it right now?
No, I want to share it after we talk about our faves. But
okay.
I really loved meeting Michelle at Paley Fest. Michelle Hickey.
Michelle, darling Michelle Hickey.
So sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Literally. What a wonderful person. She won our giveaway for the Paley Fest tickets. And she's wonderful. She's so talented. And
she's from Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just so great to meet her. And
so great to meet her. She is writing a book, or she wrote a book, and she's querying it so that it can get an agent and be published. Like, she is on her way. She's probably going to be on a bookshelf near you soon. Yeah. Oh, I loved Michelle.
Yeah.
I just called her Michelle. Anytime there's ever a Michelle that I'm referencing on the podcast, it's always Michelle.
Yeah, totally.
But, loved her. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Like, that was so long ago. That was what, like March?
So I'm like, that was this year. And it was.
Yeah. I loved being in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Like there's
I just said also just meeting all of you in Ann Arbor.
Like that is just honestly one of my favorite times of the whole year. Like thank you so much to Lisa and Lane at Rock Paper Scissor.
Forever.
I hope that you guys come next year, because if as long as they are having that event and they want us to be there, we are going to be there, because it's just so much fun and it's just so cool walking around town and seeing all of your friends, like all of our listeners, but just like people we've connected with at the store, and just getting to be a fangirl about literally everything. Because at that point, Showgirl was about to come out and I had my like Life of a Showgirl nails, and random people kept stopping me on the street to talk about my nails. Yeah. But it's just like, that felt like, it feels like such girlhood. Like you're just like walking around town, meeting friends, making friends, being in the store, meeting our listeners, which is what this question was about. But I just like, I can't like pinpoint anyone. I did love doing trivia and sitting next to the fear biters, and like every time they knew an answer they were like, got it and it was like Nina really and Kindle, I think her name was, like the two of them, like they were just like so locked in, and they like were I'm pretty sure the two of them could be on a Gilmore Girls trivia team, just them,
and win,
beat everyone. But yeah, 100%. So that was really fun to like see that.
I totally agree. For me, specifically meeting Julia and her mom was the highlight.
Oh, I love that. Okay, you guys, Julia and her mom for the costume contest came dressed as Luke and Jess.
Julia was Jess. Her mom was Luke. They had like the beard stubble and everything.
You know, that's what I was thinking about when we were walking around town. Like we were just sitting at Rue's Rose, our favorite coffee shop in Ann Arbor. And they just walked in and we were like, hi guys.
But like talk about an angel. Like Julia wrote us like handwritten cards, and I still have mine. As I was like starting to pack up, I found the card that Julia gave us, and I was like, oh, I love this. And like it's going in I have like this box of special cards that I keep, and it was just so special.
Mine's in my Gilmore to Say junk journal. I put all of that in there.
Love. Yeah, it was just so special to meet her and all of our listeners. Like it was just,
I know, really. Do you remember baby Theo?
Of course I do. That really Annalise's
baby boy.
Yeah, so cute. Probably our youngest listener, arguably.
Has to be.
Maybe.
Well, actually, I think Cal is.
I was going to say
listener.
Cal might be.
Yeah, my nephew. He loves conversation. He's like, not to go on a tangent. He loves listening to people talk in their regular voices, because, you know, he's the cutest thing on the whole planet. He's 6 months old. So you want to talk to him like he's a little bitty baby.
Totally.
But he's locked in when you use your regular voice and you start talking. And I was like, oh, does he love a podcast? So he actually turned out he really does listening to Gilmore to Say.
Love.
Because he likes listening to me talk.
Yeah.
So I do think he is our youngest listener, but Theo,
close second.
Close. I'll call him a listener because Cal is familial. He's related. That doesn't really count.
So yeah, that's true. That's
Theo
so true.
The tile.
But it was, Ann Arbor, weekend, like in general, is always one of our favorite listener experiences. But there is a story that I have to tell you that, again, I don't think you even noticed, but when I was thinking about this, jumped out at me and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot this happened. So it's trivia. It's like the end of kind of our weekend. Trivia was like the last event we had. And we were talking to one of our listeners who had come to trivia, and she hugs you and she looks directly at you and she goes, and you are so beautiful. And then to you. And she turns and looks at me and goes, it was so nice to meet you. And I was like, and I am a bridge troll.
Wait, that was like, do you remember
the one where no one talked?
The one where they liked the one where no one talked and I was no one.
I was like,
wait, I don't remember that.
I'm going to crawl back under the rock from whence I came.
From whence you came. I'm glad that's where you live now.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Tara, to you from me and all of our listeners, you are beautiful.
Thank you. I was like, as long as I think I'm beautiful and the man I'm marrying thinks I'm beautiful, I guess that's all that matters. But it was very funny. It really made me laugh. I'm sure it was super
Do I look engaged? No, not at all.
But you are also very beautiful.
Well, I already know that. She told me. It really does feel like the one where no one talked. And I was like, me?
I know.
You like the ones where I'm not saying anything? I knew you were going to get a kick out of that.
I was like, I'm going to write this into a movie one day. You're so beautiful. And you
goodbye.
Are also here. Bye-bye. Anyway.
Claim wave. Claim wave. Segueing from the listeners who think that some of us are not as beautiful as the others. I wanted to just like mention how like nice it is to see our listeners in like unlikely locations. Like I got to go to St. Louis to be Beck's conversation partner, and I was with Ashley Jordan in Atlanta earlier this year. And seeing our listeners at those events honestly felt so comforting to like them to come up to me and be like, hi, I came out to support you because like I love the podcast. It just felt like, oh my gosh, you're here for me at this thing that I was nervous to do. Like it's so nice and like so cool, especially to be at Beck's event, because so many people were like, you introduced me to BK Borison. Like from our episode, they're like, I only started reading her books because of you. So it felt like full circle for them to have me be in conversation with her. And so like those moments were really fun because like I didn't expect to be talking to our listeners then. I fully expected it to be like a room full of their readers.
Yeah, of course.
And for our listeners to show up too was really, really fun.
So special.
Because I met Hannah Day, which
Miss Hannah Day,
an
icon.
She's a Patreon icon.
Literally.
So if you're not on Patreon, you might not know Hannah Day, but if you are on Patreon, you're like, wow, she met a celebrity that day. And I also met Miss Madison, who was our counter at our St. Louis event. And I was like, oh, we know who Miss Madison is. Because she said her name. I was like, Madison, you were at our event. And she was like, I counted for you. And I was like, Miss Madison?
Miss Madison.
Oh my gosh. Because she said I'm a teacher. And I was like, this is slowly unlocking for me. And then she was like, I counted. And if you were at our St. Louis event, we did some polling, and Miss Madison was a teacher, and so she counted for us, and
she did
icon that one. So those were my little iconic listener moments that
love.
Like they were true celebrities in the GTS universe.
Love. Favorite businessy related thing. I love this because I love to kind of reflect back on the business side of things, because you guys of course always hear about like the on pod things that happen, but there's so much that happens behind the scenes between me and Haley beyond just the podcast, because we are running a business behind all of this. But for me, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago or very recently, I think when you were here, this is the first year that we had the most consistent year business-wise, income-wise, because we as a podcast stayed on the same network for the entire year, and this is the first year we've ever done that. We had consistent income. We just I think really hit our stride this year.
It felt like this, like not in the years past. Like I think the first 2 years we felt like we were truly flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
Like working unemployed. Like there was like literally no income coming in from this podcast. We were just doing it to do it. But this is the first year that I was like, this is my job. This is my job. This is what I do for work, which was really cool because I didn't really know what to write for this one, but that is a really good answer. I wrote down the company holiday party. I really enjoyed that.
No, that company holiday dinner between the two of us was unmatched.
One of the best dinners I've had all year.
So good. The other thing that I really loved is that we not completely consistently, we're kind of slowly getting into it, but our consulting business is kind of like slowly taking shape, and we're working with, Pretty Little Podcast now, your one and only source, and being the consulting producers there, and that's really cool. And so I love that we're able to do that.
Me too. I think that all of that comes from something that we were talking about in a VTO episode for December, where we're talking about like reflecting on this past year and talking about our colors for next year, is that so much of this year was a mindset shift that like in the consistency of it being in the consistency of it being our first like real consistent year of the podcast, in terms of like the business side of things, I feel like this was the year when we were like stopped acting like what we were doing was like, oh, we're being delusional by asking for this thing. We're being delusional by thinking this will work out. It's like, no. Back up. You've worked really hard for this thing. And if you ask for it, you have built yourself into such a place and worked yourself into such a place that you can ask for these things. And the answer 90% of the time will be yes, if not more than 90% of the time, because you have reached a level of I don't even want to say a level of success, but you have reached a level of work that you have done that has put you on a level where these things will work out for you.
Totally.
And I think prior to that, we had been kind of like scared of it, like that we didn't think we had been there, that we had surrounded ourselves with people who weren't really like speaking that into us, that it really had to come from us. Totally. And it was really that like realization of like, we are not being delusional. We are being delusional to think that this is delusional. Mm-hmm. And so I think that having that mindset shift, specifically as it relates to the business, was the most helpful to be like, oh, and it really like was gaining a new confidence that I'm excited to take into the new year.
I completely agree with you. We kind of alluded to last year having a really big hiccup in our year that I think was kind of like the root of what made us so like confident going into this.
Yeah.
And realizing that like our gut feelings about the direction we wanted to take this podcast in, the partnerships that we forged on our own, those things were all right. And I think trusting ourselves to take the reins on our own business and not feeling, I think that, you know, when you start anything, and kind of the way that our show took off in 2022, we were like, we don't know what to do with this. And we feel like we need help. We need to be with a network that's going to take care of everything for us, and they're going to know what to do with what we have. I think that we were in that mindset for a really long time of like, oh, well, when we sign with an agent, when we sign with a network, then our show will really like, they will foster our show and everything will just continue to grow. And then we did get those things and we realized that it actually was more of a detriment than it was an asset. And I think that trusting ourselves to be like, oh no, we know what's best for our show and it thrives when we are at the helm is what made this year so successful, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I feel like so many of y'all can relate to that, where it's like, I will do this thing when this happens in my life. Yeah. I will do this when I get to this point. I will do this at this. Like, you need perfect circumstances to achieve it, which is really like the enemy of success or the enemy of progress, really. And I think that like kind of unlocking that and being like, no, we can do it. And just trusting ourselves and just stepping out. The thing that I said is like, you always have a no until you ask. And the answer could be no, but you already had a no. So why not just see if there's a yes waiting on the end?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was it was a mindset shift for me business-wise that I felt like was the most effective this year.
I agree. And that's why I love this question at the end of every year, because it gives us an opportunity to reflect back on our business, which I kind of forget we have sometimes because the podcast is just like the thing. But the podcast is a business. You know, we have merch and we have partnerships and we have, you know,
there's just so much admin that goes into it because it's a business we own.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just am really proud of the ways in which we stepped up and took the reins, which started last year, but really, really informed how this year was going to go for us. And I'm excited to carry it into 2026.
Me too.
Do you have a favorite cut moment that didn't make it on air?
I don't think so. I mean, of the two of us, I feel like you're more likely to cut.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I stumbled through that and I will say it right eventually. Or perhaps I won't.
Perhaps, maybe. We don't.
I feel like you're more likely to cut. But yeah, I couldn't really think of anything that, a favorite cut moment. Did you have
It wasn't necessarily like a favorite cut moment. When I was recording with Caroline, our episode was very long and it ended up being very long on air as well. But one of the things that I cut was Caroline, we were talking about how Gossip Girl and Gilmore Girls has an unaired pilot, or I'm sorry, has a backdoor pilot. And she was like nodding along, and then she was like, hold on, what's a backdoor pilot? And I was like, happy to explain. She was like, explain it to me like I'm 5. And I was like, well, when Haley and I do this, we say explain it to me like it's The Office and Oscar and the Lemonade Stand. And I was explaining it to her, like the lore of that. And I told Leron, I was like, you can cut those. We don't need the explanation. Everybody here knows. But it was very fun to explain that to her because she was like, okay, got it. Explain it to me like Oscar and the Lemonade Stand.
Yes.
So just a little origin story that I cut. But
yeah,
other than that, I think that I've gotten more comfortable with, you know, allowing like the stumbles or like things to be in there. Then I like, as we do this year after year, I feel like I get more comfortable with that stuff personally, but you know, I'm still a little OCD perfectionist.
I will ever like be like, wait, let me say that again, is if I'm saying something that I know in my mind in that moment, I want to pull for a reel. I'm going to be so honest because I have pulled things before where I have not gone back and said it. And I was like, you little demon, say it again. So it's like have it like as, because I like edit most of the reels that we've been doing lately. So I will be like, nope, That's like the only time that I'll be like, if it feels like really essential to the story that we're telling that I'm going to put on socials, I'm gonna be like, wait, let me say that again. Because girl, if she has ruined so many of the ideas of things that I want to post because she did not say it right. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post it. You messed it up and you didn't say it again.
So guess what?
This is the punishment.
Yeah.
Guess what?
No, you're that's so smart and forward thinking of you, because I don't think about that nearly as often as I should, I think.
I find myself, I mean, I guess this is not something our listeners think about, and it's something that you could think about if you wanted to start a podcast, which you could, is like going through life in the different conversation patterns that you have to have. So I was talking to Mandy about this, that like you just don't have the same understanding of how your own voice sounds and your own voice works and the patterns of speech that you have, because you're not listening to yourself that much. And so I think that until you host a podcast, because like it's such a skill to like be able to, the two of us talk, but at the same time be like, oh, this would actually be really good pull for social in the middle of talking about it. But it's like, have I said everything I need to say, and have I stumbled while saying it? Should I repeat it so that I can pull it and put it at the beginning of what we just said to make it seem like it was seamless, so that when people listen, they're gonna be like, oh, she stumbled. But they're not gonna notice that I like pulled that for a reel and said it correctly. And so it's like thinking about that, but also getting your point across correctly, and also listening to you and wanting to hear you and respond to you appropriately, but moving the conversation forward. It's different. And so like I find in my like regular conversations, I start to like kind of think of like, what's the core of this conversation? And I'm like, girl, you're literally talking about biscuits to your sister-in-law. This is not that deep.
Hilarious.
So I find that I'm having like cut moments in my real life, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, let me rephrase that. I don't need to say it like that, because there'll be times when I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but I have started talking already and I need to back up because I actually don't know what it is I've decided to start saying.
Sometimes
but with you, I could be like, let me start over. I don't know where that's going. And I've started to be like, let me start over. And Mandy's like,
funny.
Thank you for announcing.
That is very, very funny. Because it's kind of like Lauren Conrad with the planes. Like she'll stop talking when a plane is going by.
We do that all the time, y'all.
Yeah. We're like,
we're Lauren Conrading. Pause her plane.
Yeah. Tell me about your favorite Gilmore to read episode. Do you have one?
Well, as it turns out, I did 18 this year, so it's quite hard to have a favorite.
Yeah.
But this is like what a banner year for Gilmore to read. One of the best ones. Like, I think just so. Quite simply incredible. Before I started Gilmore to read, I had kind of like a bucket list of like dream guests that I would have. And Kennedy Ryan and Carly Fortune were on that list. And I can say were, because those are two people that I had on the podcast this week. 2 episodes, I think I would completely redo the way that I did it. But it's one of those things that you don't really know how you would do it until after you've done it. And you're like, oh, I could have asked this question and done this and asked about this. And it's really only in the review process that you learn those things to ask about. So those are definitely 2 that I would like love to talk to again and like get a repeat, because I kind of honed in on what I would have focused the episode on. But there were just honestly so many. Really love talking to Susan Lee. I think she's like one of my new favorite people on the planet. She's just such a kind, wonderful, warm, hilarious person. And I can't wait to keep reading her books. But yeah, it's really hard to pick a favorite. Honestly, all of them. Every one. I think that I just got such different things from all of them. I feel like I referenced the Sarah McLean episode a lot.
Yes,
because
you do.
She like gave me a lot to think of in terms of just like storytelling in general. I kind of did a little recap for this at the beginning of my BK Borison episode on Gilmore to read, kind of like my faves, because I was just like, how do I end this year of like talking to like all of these like iconic authors who I love, who are like, you know, like titans in the romance genre, but also make friends with so many and learn so many amazing things and like backgrounds that they have with Gilmore Girls, like in the most unexpected places. Like I really didn't expect just how much like Coco Mellors like studied Gilmore Girls in school in terms of dialogue, and how much like that and Sex and the City helped her to learn how to write dialogue, which was just so much fun, like seeing someone who does like literary fiction like has that like such deep like sort of like fangirl gene in them. But yeah, I kind of all of them. And I think that overall, if I could say my favorite, it's just that like all of the work that I've done for Gilmore to Read has really started to expand, because like getting to ask to be a part of two authors book events was really fun with Ashley Jordan in Atlanta, who's like what a like sweet dreamy gal. I love her so much, and I just like cannot wait. Like I can't believe it was like her debut novel, but like I just can't wait to read more of her books. And of course being with Bex with BK Borson in St. Louis and getting to talk to her like on the podcast was so much fun. It felt like such a full circle moment because I met her through the podcast. Like our first episode that we recorded together was how I met her, and then now having her back on the podcast a second time as a friend was really fun. But
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it just feels like I have gotten to a place like I said that like I keep asking for authors, like particular authors, or I kept asking at the end of last year for this year, thinking like, oh my God, they're not going to be on the podcast. Like Carly Fortune and Kennedy Ryan. I was like, they won't want to be on the podcast. What am I thinking? I'm going to get a no. And they were like, yeah, sure. When can we book? And I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, totally.
And so like now going into this next year, being really intentional about like trying not to be so delusional about being delusional and being really intentional with guiding it, because I'm like, wow, people want to be on here. And like we get a lot of requests now. We get a lot of outreach about it, which I'm just like, look at this thing. Look at her go. But it's like really just, I think one of my favorite parts of the podcast is just getting to talk to all my favorite authors about all my favorite books.
Yeah.
And talk to you. Get to recap it all with you.
Yeah, it is really nice. I love it.
And getting Tara to read. You guys, Tara's reading. 2026 is Tara's year of reading books.
Yeah, I think I'm going to read a lot more books, especially as, you know, as we look ahead to 2026. I am, you know, we just talked about this on our VTO episode for our trollop. So if you want to hear kind of the expansion, Suki,
People would be disappointed if you didn't make the reference.
It's true. You can listen to that on Patreon, but we were talking a lot about how, you know, our colors for this year and how 2025 was informed by like both of our red years and what the intentions are for next year. And for me, it's having a rom-com year. And so I really want to dive into some of the rom-coms that have been written into literature, because I feel like that's where, I mean, we have talked about this, that's where a lot of the rom-coms have gone, is to chick lit. And so diving into that, because I would really love to write a rom-com film this upcoming year in 2026. That's one of my intentions. I think I need to immerse myself a little bit more in those books.
Into the romance genre.
And it's just better for you before bed instead of, you know, scrolling.
Yeah.
Because I usually do a crossword puzzle before bed, but also now that I have like the wedding going on, I like tend to kind of like scroll on Pinterest and stuff before I go to sleep because I'm like trying to get inspired, but also that's not the time to do that. So to create healthier sleeping habits, I think reading a book before bed is really good. And that's something that I did with Hannah Brown's book this year because we were reading it in preparation for the episode. And I really enjoyed that. I felt like I slept better. I just think it's just better for you before bed to kind of read, get your eyes a little tired, but not from screens. And that's another perk to maybe becoming a little more of a reader girly in 2026. We'll see.
Maybe we've got a little Gilmore to Read competition.
Oh,
maybe she's going to take over. Maybe we'll have
I don't know about that.
Tara take over. We'll see.
We'll see. What was your favorite? I know that we just talked about Gilmore to Read, but what was your favorite guest ep this year?
You know, I think a sneaky fave guest that we had this year on GTS was Anne Hood.
Oh, she was so good.
She was, because like that's like real crossover of Gilmore to Read, Gilmore to Say, because she was on for her book Life Short Talk Fast, which was 13 essays from writers talking about their relationship with Gilmore Girls. And we had gotten outreach from her publicist about it. I was excited to talk to her, especially excited to talk to a writer who's a fan of Gilmore Girls. But having her on, she was just like such a gem, so charming, had the best stories to tell. Yeah, totally. Just like even afterwards when we got off and we were all just chatting, like she was just so fun. Love her. And just like so unexpected. And I'd heard of her like previously, but I didn't know much about her. But what a gem.
We had some excellent guests this year.
I think all of the guests we had this year were great.
Amazing. Sebastian.
What a lovely man. I love him. If you have not listened to Sebastian Canelli, is that how you say his last name? If you haven't listened to his episode, I believe it was in March or April of this year.
Yeah.
And you have this deep desire to both laugh like unendingly and feel really warm and fuzzy, go listen to his episode.
He's great.
So great. One of my fave guests that we've had.
Totally agree. And then we had Hannah Brown, which was such an exciting opportunity because
random.
So random. I love Hannah Brown so much. I want to know how she felt about finishing Gilmore Girls because she was in the midst of her Gilmore Girls rewatch while she was also filming Bachelor in Paradise and about to get married. She has
another book coming out next summer.
She does. So maybe we'll bring her back. That would be great.
Because I'd love to know about how she ended up feeling. She was about to get to Why Did You Drop Out of Yale?
I know.
Like on the precipice. So kind of want to check back in with that girly.
Yes. And then my fave, of course, was Grantley Phillips.
How could he not be?
But I also loved Sarah Lampert. She was an amazing guest for my first Gilmore to watch. It was great. I loved having Caroline on the podcast. And honestly, like this is not necessarily a guest episode, but our interviews at Paley Fest were, I mean, unmatched. But one of my favorite interview experiences was with Alex Borstein on the red carpet.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love her. What an amazing woman.
A true chick.
Like
that's
chick,
exactly
definition
how
of a chick. Like so down to earth, so present with you,
so
very
dry.
grounded, dry
but earnest.
So earnest. And that is the thing that I loved the most about her is like she was so present with you or with us. Like I just felt she was that way with every single person because I was watching her as she was moving towards us and how she was with every interview. She was so intentional when she spoke. You can tell she's very, very secure in who she is. She's obviously so talented and was also just like super cool. And remember that I had cherry earrings and cherry shoes and called that out on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Like what a gal, what a girl. I felt that way.
A girl's girl,
like,
for sure.
A girl's girl. We've talked about that about Amy and Dan too, because like, I guess if we could include guests, we did have like their interview on the podcast this year.
Yeah.
Very, very brief, but we had been so nervous to talk to them because they have just like, you know, you've seen them talk before. They kind of have a very sarcastic nature to them, but like talk about earnest. Yeah. Like just so kind and just really excited about our podcast and just in general, like it couldn't have been a dreamier experience, which speaking of our platform that we record the podcast on, they gave us the absolute weirdest year-end recap. I actually could never show it to anyone because I might show you guys this one that I'm about to talk about because the other ones were kind of scary. But it gave us our top word that we said this year on as we recorded. And I think it's interesting because this takes into account like conversations that we have that don't make it to pod, like that. It's not just like the edited version. It's us recording in general. It's Gilmore to say. It's Gilmore Revisited. It's Gilmore to read. It's Gilmore to watch. It's the rewatch club. It's lives. It's everything.
Yeah.
And do you want to know what our top word was?
What was it?
Do you want to guess?
Was it Gilmore?
It was Amy.
Really?
Yeah. And so I will post to our stories only for 24 hours. I will not put this on the grid. It edited together a video of us saying Amy 1,000,000 times.
No way.
It's horrible. It's horrible. They really need to work on that. So sorry, y'all at Riverside, but like truly abominable. Like truly the worst tragedy like that could have befallen the two of us editing wise. It's really awful. But it was our top word was Amy.
Wow. That's so cool.
The other video was us like, you guys really love to laugh. And so it edited together just 20 seconds of us laughing from about 40 different episodes.
No. I think that like a montage of that would be cool with no sound.
We could give it no sound. I could, you know what? I'll post it on our story with no sound. So you guys could see what it would be.
Because I saw a preview on it and I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then you were like, it was horrifying.
You put this up. You know, we've talked about it so much. I might just put it up and everyone be like, oh, well, I might tag Riverside in it and be like, do better. This is everyone's copying Spotify, you know, the Wrapped that everyone does. We're having our own Wrapped episode.
We are.
But yeah, they need to get back into the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board on that one.
They just need to use people instead of AI.
I know.
Sorry.
Honestly. And of course, people were directing this because it's not something like, you know, they were like, oh, this would be good. Just 20 seconds of them laughing.
Yeah.
And I don't know who thought that, but I would like to have a review with you.
Yeah. We would like to do a year-end review.
Yeah. But yeah. Could have been cool, but I did love that they gave us our top word. And our top word was Amy, which felt so random.
But also right. But also right.
Yeah. So in talking about guest steps, you know, it wasn't necessarily a true guest step, but manifesting that our top word being Amy from this year.
Yeah.
Maybe our top guest next year.
Let's manifest that.
Will be Amy and Dan.
And Dan.
It really says we need to talk about Dan more next year.
We need to talk about Dan more next year. I think that's
top word
also
is Dan.
Like, quote
that's our goal.
Opinion that changed. I think that you and I, it's not necessarily an opinion that changed, but something
a revelation
we had was the fact that like Dan is so much more integral to Gilmore Girls and the world building.
If Amy is the beating heart, Dan is the lungs breathing it all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Which, speaking of, moving into kind of like the besties opinion on some of the things that the questions that we asked on Instagram for GTS Wrapped. A lot of people loved our Dear Amy and Dan episode. And
wait,
understandably
I loved that too.
I loved that episode. It was a lot of fun. And I can't wait to do more of that because we talked about them.
I loved that episode.
Yeah.
And Clue.
Yeah.
Good eps. Okay.
Clue.
Anyway.
The Richard Gilmore episode, ranking the Gilmore guys. And a lot of people loved the Paley Fest episode, of course.
Wait, ranking Gilmore guys? What was that?
That was, they rank Gilmore guys, don't they? Like the ranking the men of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah, we did the bracket.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, someone needs to guide me back through everything we did this year.
I know. And there were a lot of people that really loved that Brett came on, and I'm so glad. But people also really loved the top 25 episodes of Gilmore Girls.
You guys, I have been pushing next year. We have to do a top 26 through 50. We just have to. They're like, you were good, but not good enough, but excellent, but almost there.
Almost there. Exactly. Episode that you wanted to be the third host of. A lot of people felt the same way about that episode. They wanted to be a part of the, like, you know,
the
conversation.
Weighing in on it.
But another episode people loved that I meant to mention was the Kenny Ortega episode.
I
Talk
loved
about
that
a guest
episode
we're going to manifest next year.
Manifest that man.
It was very close this year. And a lot of people wanted to be a part of the rewriting season 7 episode.
Oh, I would have loved for you to be there. If I could pick an episode that I would have loved you as a third host for, it's that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We needed more eyes, more ears, more opinions, more mouths.
More mouths, 100%. Favorite Patreon episode of 2025?
It has to be Partings.
A lot of people said Partings, but a lot of people said that they loved the episode, like the VTO live when I told you I was engaged. And that was really special for me.
Yes. If you are a VTO on Patreon, you can go back and see Tara tell me that she is engaged from April, I believe.
May. Yeah.
May.
My favorite response to this, just if I could have a moment for myself, was
probably after what that listener said to you, baby, take all the time you need.
Thank you.
Take a 10. Take a nice Tara 10.
Probably the engagement reveal. Tara is a gifted storyteller. And that just like made my heart so happy.
That is nice.
Because sometimes I'm like, am I telling the story right? And I was really, really touched.
I think given the fact that I was so locked in, also the fact that you told me, like, I had some really good pasta this weekend. I was like, when does the pasta come in? And why does Sabrina Carpenter serve it to you?
Yeah. When is Sabrina Carpenter showing up?
When does she show up? Like that, you had me so locked in.
But she said, I am Suki in Sadie Sadie. And I was like, that's really cute. I love that.
Yeah.
So I really loved that a lot of people enjoyed that. But Partings was also one that people really loved. And
I also liked Bon Voyage.
Bon Voyage was really fun, but people really love our Gilmore Revisited, and I think that's just going to make them so much more excited, hopefully, for our Maisel podcast, which is happening in 2026, which we're so
just a couple months away.
I am so excited. So excited. Okay. When did you disagree with us was a really good one. And a lot of people said the top 25 episodes. Of course they're going to have different opinions.
I disagreed with me.
I mean, like, I could go back and disagree with so many
I have gone back and I'm like, I would change this one.
Yeah.
We disagreed with ourselves recently on the Rewatch Club. We were watching A Tale of Pose and Fire and A Tisket a Tasket.
Yeah.
We were like trying to decide where that would actually go. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think ranking the Gilmore men, some people disagreed with us.
I also disagreed with us.
Liking the musical In a Year in the Life, liking other parts of A Year in the Life. There are people that didn't. I also
disagree.
I could totally understand that. 100%.
That's the thing is like, you're disagreeing with me from a couple months ago. Same. Me too.
Totally get it. Did we change any of your Gilmore Girls opinions this year? Some people started to become more Team Jess. Some people
not what I meant to do.
I don't know.
That was not the propaganda I was trying to sell there.
Some people said that Zach was the star of season 7.
Was he a little bit? Oh my gosh.
That Revival Logan is a yucko loser. More love for April. So yeah.
I also did see that someone on like the disagreeing is like, Logan is not a yucko loser. He is my man. But I was like, he is also my man. But he is also a yucko loser. Sorry. Do the hand sign.
Yeah. Gilmore Girls episode topics that we should cover in 2026. We had a lot of suggestions, but my favorite, and I actually DM'd this listener, was that we should do a cold opens episode. And I said, you might be getting that a lot sooner than you anticipate.
Yeah.
I was really excited about that.
Yes. It's one of those things that's like, you're guessing. You're cold. Oh, you're getting warmer.
Yeah.
You're getting warmer. You're hot. It might be about cold opens, but you are getting warmer.
Yeah.
You're getting warmer.
Yeah.
Just wait till season 5 of Gilmore to say.
Exactly.
You might enjoy the premiere episode.
But then I asked about merch ideas for 2026 and where we should go. Gilmore to Say Live in 2026. Merch ideas for you too. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to share those with you guys along the way. But I said, let's end it on a sentimental note. Favorite Tara and Haley moment of 2025, which I really loved. And a lot of it was Paley Fest, me telling you about my engagement, and of course Taylor Swift at Colbert. I think those were like really some of the top highlights of the year. If I could pick
iconic
3,
moments.
It would probably be those 3.
Can you believe that we started the year with Amy and Lauren and Kelly and Alex and Dan? We will never forget you, Dan. And ended it with Taylor.
I said that to you while we were sitting in Colbert. I was like, I can't believe we're here right now, and I can't believe that like this was our year. Was it at Colbert or
was it the holiday party?
It might have been at the holiday party. The holiday party was just me and Haley sitting at the bar eating a steak.
Tara was eating steak.
I was eating steak.
I'm allergic.
She was eating
But we were trying to have like a there's the rub moment. There was not a man. We did not get 60-40'd.
No.
Promise.
No.
We did become friends with the bartender.
We became friends with the bartender. That's a little different.
That's close enough. But yeah, I keep calling it our holiday party
as if it was more than just a party of 2.
No, it was literally just us eating dinner.
Hilarious.
At a bar. But yeah, I think I couldn't remember if we talked about it there or in the audience.
Yeah.
When we were waiting for.
But I was like, this is insane. I was like, I think about this year and all of the things that we did this year, all of the things we celebrated, all of the experiences we had together separately. It's just, this was a really incredible year for our podcast. And I'm so excited to do it again next year. And it's funny because we've mentioned this before. Like we've been talking about the 25th anniversary and this season for a very long time on this podcast. Yeah. Since we started, it's like, oh my God, the 25th anniversary is going to be coming up while we're doing the show. And then once we do that, I don't really know where we go from there. And it's so incredible to know that we have a trajectory to go beyond just the 25th anniversary. Because in some ways, and in another universe, maybe this would have been the last year of Gilmore to Say, but no. No.
There's so much to look forward to. I mean, the thing is like we at least have to do this until fall of 2027 when Amy and Lauren's book comes out. Like, totally. Can you even fucking believe? Like, we have to wait for that Christmas special.
Yeah.
There's just so many good things. And like, that's what's so fucking fantastic about this show. Y'all are still wanting to listen to us talk about it. We're still wanting to talk about it. And this show is 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that just speaks to the show itself. It also speaks to if we're doing a year wrapped, how many people involved with the ownership of this project, the project being Gilmore Girls, dropped the ball and celebrating it because of the amount of people that just absolutely adore it. Like, just given the fact that we had over 1 million listens this year of people wanting to listen to and talk more about Gilmore Girls.
Totally.
And it's like the WB, Netflix, anyone who has any like stake in the property, like just drop the ball. But we didn't.
That just gives us more fodder.
You didn't, bestie?
Yeah, it leaves room and opportunity for more celebrating. Because I keep saying this, like, once we celebrate the 25th anniversary, there are so many more 25th anniversaries to come, because now we're going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the season 1 finale, Jess's arrival, like the dance marathon episode, like so many things, because there are so many 25th anniversaries to look forward to now that the initial like premiere of Gilmore Girls has celebrated its 25th anniversary, and I can't wait.
More to celebrate, more to say.
Yeah.
Gilmore?
On that note, I just want to know, what are you most excited about for Gilmore to say in 2026?
So much. I think that we have a lot of fun topics that we've kind of been brewing, but I have to say, I have to stop kind of anticipating anything happening, because every single year, regardless of what I think is going to be the most exciting thing or what I'm looking forward to the most, every year something has occurred, and it is way more than I could have ever imagined.
Totally.
Never imagined that we were going to meet Amy and Dan this past year. Like everything, every little piece of what has occurred, I'm just like, okay, I can plan for things like within our business, administratively, financially. There's so much that we can and we must plan for.
Yeah, we have to.
When everything else comes to planning, we're like, something's going to happen, like there's just magic ahead because we are open to it.
Yeah.
And we are reaching out for it. And
every year we're surprised by something. In 2023, it was like our show really 2022, our show took off like we never imagined it would. 2023, we went to Denver. We did our first live show. Like, so many things started to take shape that we were like, oh my God, we have a show.
Yeah.
2024, it was the New York Times interview, being in Us Weekly, like all of these other things, the Kelly Bishop
live
book,
show,
live shows.
Ann Arbor,
exactly. Going to LA. And then this past year, all of the things we just talked about in this whole episode, it's like none of those things that we just listed ever would have been predicted. So I don't think there's a ton we can predict for 2026 outside of what is within our control. And I love that. I love that. Just the possibilities are endless. What I am excited for, which is within our control and something we're planning for, is to cover Maisel and to talk about the ways in which Gilmore Girls and Maisel, like where that Venn diagram is in a lot of different ways. I think watching this show with you as someone who has seen it, like seen the first season, but doesn't really know it, especially as well as Gilmore Girls, I think that it's going to be a really, really fun experience to watch that together.
And it's also not going to feel like a copy paste of Gilmore Revisited, because Gilmore Revisited, like, come on, how many times have you and I seen Gilmore Girls?
Yeah.
The limit does not exist. With the Rewatch Club, it's a different format of us watching it together. With Maisel, you've seen it multiple times. I saw the first season in one day in 2017 and haven't really touched it since. Yeah. So I don't really know what happens very much. I I've seen clips from guest stars who pop in. I don't know how. You've told me spoilers. I don't remember.
Yeah, of course.
So it's I have really no idea what I'm getting into. So I feel like it's fun because it's kind of the same format as Gilmore Revisited, but completely different.
Totally.
Because it's just a completely different setup, a different show, but it's not going to feel so copy and paste.
No, it's not. But there are going to be a lot of really fun parallels. Dialogue parallels, circumstantial parallels, actors that come in from Gilmore Girls, like fun Easter eggs that I think we are just going to eat up and love. And I can't wait to talk about it with our besties. If you haven't seen Maisel, I really would love for you to go on this journey with us on Patreon.
Yeah, wait and watch. We're going to do it in March. We're going to wait.
Well, I kind of want them to watch because there's going to be a certain point where it's maybe not. I think we'll try to make it spoiler free, but we kind of have to.
Because I haven't seen it. Tara?
Yes.
Hold your right hand up. Don't fucking spoil it.
I won't.
That's all you gotta say.
I won't.
No.
I won't.
You can't.
Okay.
And that's that. It's been a nice year.
Anyway, I'm very excited for 2026, and we hope you guys have a wonderful new year. And I know I will, because I'm moving in a new apartment. This is my last episode I'm filming in this apartment on pod, and I'm very excited for you guys to see me in my new home, where I will feel a lot better, a lot saner, starting the year happy and healthy. Can't wait.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun plans lined up, a lot of events that we're manifesting, a lot of guests that are in the works.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that I'm looking forward to in 2026, it is you following us. Hopefully where we lead, you will follow, because we can't do this without you.
It's true.
And we're very grateful for you being here, that we do get to do it.
The next couple of weeks, we're going to have some Gilmore to Considers leading up to us kicking off season 5 of Gilmore to Say on January 20th, which I'm so excited about.
So excited.
It's going to be a really fun episode. But in the meantime, we're going to consider some of your opinions.
And we'll have more to say on that in the next year.
In the next year.